Hello, everybody. The portal is busy, but your favorite broskies in basketball are here to break it all down right here, right now. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that Green Screens Media train. Welcome to One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. And we are powered by the nation's, the world's, no, the universe's greatest website, and that is drroto.com. I am your humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Follow me, and I will smash that follow back button because I am a follow back girl indeed. Three-man box tonight. Let's get right to two of the absolute best in the business, the brightest minds you will find, starting with the guy we know as El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship, who you can find on X at MC Holland34. The OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do, baby?
You want me to follow the Gwen Stefani holla back girl reference? That's tough business, my guy. But I'm doing good. We've we were just talking pre-show that the transfer big board up to 300 players, and not a lot of top guys remaining. I mean, a few here and there, but that board's starting to fill up with commitments. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go to that greatest website, drroto.com. Me and your boy at Nate C. Hustle been hustling, getting that board up to 300, updating it every day. So you can follow all the action, and you've even got a box there where you can scroll by team to see who has committed. So, it's pretty neat stuff over there. But I'm excited to continue this portal ride that we have been on.
Neat stuff indeed over at drroto.com. Our guy Napsy Hustle, who is already in the live chat, dropping the old salute in there and the bread. We appreciate him doing that. And of course, it makes a lot of sense now that we already got Mike and we got Napsy Hustle, because last in the intros, but first in your hearts, the Baron of Bread of Green Screens Media, who you can find in those Twitter streets at Fantasy Nav. He's also known as Eric the Blue. That is Mr. Eric Roma. What's happening, man?
Man, my shit is bananas, Bananas. We'll try to figure out ways to weave in Gwen Stefani throughout the show, because like Mike alluded to, we are whittling down to an ever shorter list of players still in the pool. A lot of guys have chosen their new destination, and that gives us much better clarity for how these teams will look heading into the upcoming season, and give us a bit more ability to analyze how their coaches will deploy them. So starting to get into the grind of projecting how these rosters will play out when the ball goes up in the air. And that is absolutely what we love to do. So excited to be back talking through a few more players that have chosen their commitments, and a few more that have just thrown their name in the hat.
Oh, they are dropping like flies, getting a little thinned out up there at the top of the board, but still some prizes to be had or bought or paid for or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're gonna get they're gonna get to whatever team they want to go to, unless that team is Michigan, and then there's some question marks sometimes. But more often than not, they're gonna be able to get there. So as we get to the some of these most recent commitments, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Do your part in the Green Screens Media universe. Hit all those buttons, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a minute of all of our college basketball coverage. And you can even hop in the live chat like Mo Lester saying, Now I'm just understanding the name.
Just the light bulb just went off.
It all hit me right there.
Big
In
Mo.
real time. You saw Big Mo eating to Arkansas. Jeez. Oh, man. That's
What a
okay.
legend.
There we go. Thanks, Mo. Big Mo, for coming out. We still got a show to do. Okay, here we go. Commitments here. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Recent commits. The first 5 that we're going to talk about this evening, all inside the top 100 of the big board over at drroto.com. Mike, lead us off with someone leaving the West Coast. We've seen a bunch of guys sticking on the West Coast or going out there. Now someone heading back in the other direction.
Yeah. Well, all these guys we're going to talk about are trying to escape and recreate a place that's their own world. And we're starting here with number 33, Koren Johnson, the guard from Washington, 6'2", 175, going to Louisville. This is another top 300 guy going to Louisville. Coach Kelsey, man, all gas, no brakes, I guess. Full steam ahead, just assembling a much talented roster than what we've seen already over the last couple of years. And look, this guy, Pac-12 sixth man of the year, a pure bucket getter. I mean, he flashed some major upside in a limited role his first couple of years there at Washington. Not only can he shoot the 3 ball, which he shot at 37%, but he can get to the basket. Very creative finisher. And he scored 18.5 points per game in the final 8 games when Washington decided to let him get some minutes in the 30s there. So Koren Johnson headed into his upperclassman years now. Probably going to have his the ball in his hands a lot and taking a lot of shots for Louisville. And I suspect a lot of them will be going in, Eric. The next one we got was a commitment earlier today. Who you got?
Yeah, somewhat breaking news. Frankie Fidler on the roof, the wing formerly out of Omaha, commits to Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Fidler played 33 games for Omaha last year, about 36 minutes per game, was filling it up, averaged over 20 points, 6.5 boards, and poked out better than a steal per game. Just an absolute elite scorer at the college level, really since his freshman year, right? Last year specifically, slashed 45, 36, and 85 on very high shot volume, right? He wasn't just picking his spots where he was wide open. He was spraying and he was seeing it go through more often than not. Really good in transition, top 100 in free throw rate, in this past season. So, not really any question marks on the offensive side. Those question marks do start to creep in a little bit defensively, especially in a tough Big 10, Big 15 or 18, whatever you want to call it going forward. The defensive side is going to be something that will be put to the test at this next level. And, Michigan State, they're not a program that does a ton in the portal, at least historically, right? But, this has the ceiling to be another, Tyson Walker level addition for Tom Izzo. So nice to see them get in the mix and add someone by way of the portal. Interesting to see how Frankie Fidler transitions to Michigan State.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Izzo's sniffing around Omaha unless he sees something in a guy that fits the type of ball player that he wants at Michigan State. And I think that he sees that defensive side in Fidler there. So, I mean, I feel like we're going to see that all-around player that if Michigan State's going to be successful this year, Fidler's going to play a big part in that. And I think that if he's either going to perform this ranking, Mike, because I feel like he's going to end up getting, by the time this is all said and done and we're looking at all this stuff, I don't know that he's even going to be in the top 50, but he's a guy that's either going to overperform, just overperform these standards in terms of these rankings in the transfer portal, or he's going to just absolutely crash out. And I think Izzo is going to, use Fidler to the best of his abilities. It's Skinny dropping in the comment section saying hashtag Card Nation. PK is
Card
cooking
Nation
in the portal. Indeed. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's Skinny. Not sure if this is the first time you've joined us. I believe it might be, though, gentlemen. I believe
it might be.
This might be.
Doesn't ring a bell. Maybe you've graduated from lurker to commenter, and if you have, congratulations on your graduation, and congratulations on your Cardinal fandom. Like,
he wants his NIL now.
Is back. They're out here. They're out here stacking up. We have to see it actually when the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah.
But like, this roster is not like the Louisville rosters we've seen of late. There's a lot to be excited there for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I was joking about Michigan earlier a little bit, and they actually did get somebody here, and
they held on to him.
Well, it seems like they were able to secure Roddy Gayle, Mike, and from coming in from another campus that you might not necessarily think you would see, but an Ohio State Buckeye going to put on the colors of the school and sing the school song that Ohio State won't even mention, and vice versa. This is crazy to me, but Roddy Gayle's going to be a Wolverine, Mike.
Nothing shows the new landscape of college basketball like these rival transfers. When you see it with Kobe Johnson, like there's multiple guys doing this, and hey, it just is what it is, right? I mean, Roddy Gayle, really kind of a breakout that we projected last offseason. Got the minutes, almost 31 a game, 13.5 points, almost 5 boards, 3 assists. His 3-point percentage, it dropped from 43 to 28%. He obviously took a lot more, but overall is really the only thing that kind of held him down. I mean, he's very good at attacking, really good in isolation type sets, but also showed that he could also be a good facilitator. I didn't see him getting 3 assists per game. So not just a scorer. I mean, he's kind of primed to play this like Johnell Davis type role for Coach May. So we'll see if, Roddy Gayle can take it up another level here. Number 90, Eric, is a guy that me and the conductor here, we've seen him play pretty, up close and personal, but we wanted to give you the unbiased opinion on Tyrese Hunter here.
Yes, exactly. I will yet again play the role of the unbiased arbiter on all things UT hoops. Tyrese Hunter, like you mentioned, number 90, heading out of Texas and commits to Memphis, another team that we've been seeing all over these graphics throughout the course of this offseason and seemingly every offseason, right? We know that Penny Hardaway absolutely gets after it in the portal. With Hunter, he's getting another versatile veteran playmaker. He's been kind of up and down over his tenure with the Longhorns. He's a bit more of a distributor and defensive disruptor type, right? Like average 4 assists per game, averaged about a steal and a half per game in 32 minutes for the Longhorns last year. So, a guy that I think, that Memphis can use in a number of different ways. And now heading into year 5, like this offense is wide open. We've seen, Coach Hardaway get the most out of his guards in seasons past. So maybe this is the year where Tyrese Hunter puts it all together and outplays that number 90 ranking. We will have to see, as we will see the last player on this first 5-pack. Don't have to go far, moving from 90 to 92, Mike. What do we need to know about Noah Reynolds?
Yeah, we've talked about Noah Reynolds, the guard from Green Bay, 6'3", 195, committing to TCU here. Outstanding season last year, 20 points per game, 4 boards, almost 5 assists, shot 34% from 3. TCU nabbing another top 100 guard on our transfer board. They got Frankie Collins a few weeks ago. So the thing with this guy is like he's pretty much been an elite scorer for the past couple of seasons. He averaged 15 points per game as a sophomore with the Cowboys. He's got all the usage in the last couple of years and just had that major breakout with the Phoenix. So Noah Reynolds going to pair up with Frankie Collins here in the back. We know TCU is just a program that is going to get guards. James Dixon's going to have elite guards at his disposal. We've seen it over the past couple of years. Now it's whether or not he can get these guards to kind of break past, get into the Sweet 16, get into an Elite 8, because it seems like they're kind of knocking on the door every single year here. So we'll see if they're able to get that done.
That's a team that we've been the past couple of years have been teasing when we're talking about like Final Four, long shots. Like TCU is always in that conversation. Like they're always in that conversation. They're just so well coached. They're just so well coached.
They can get the most out of those guys, right?
Yeah. What's with teams on that campus just finding a way to get the most out of people? The football team, the basketball team. It's something in the water up there in Fort Worth. But either way, a good get there for the Horned Frogs. That is 5 of the most recent commits in the portal, all inside our top 100 in the transfer portal big board over at drroto.com. So make sure you get over there and check all of that good stuff out. And the only thing, Eric, your unbiased opinion on Tyrese Hunter, it's very, very good. I appreciated that. You could have just dialed it in, but you got the 2 Texas guys sitting here on the screen with you, and you came through. Appreciate that. Very good. They don't call you Eric the Blue for, well, anyways, who knows? But Tyrese Hunter will be entering year 4 and not year 5. That was the only thing. Other than that,
I was so busy being impartial, I forgot to check how long he'd been in school.
Yes, and that's okay. But we got so that's okay. That's all right. No worries there at all. Just like no worries for Ralph in the live chat, calling their shot, planting their flag. UConn 3-peat incoming. I mean,
it's on the range.
It can't be off of the radar, right? Like, it's absolutely in the conversation here.
They won 12 straight in the NCAA. I don't think it's off the table at all.
Is that
good?
I
think that's pretty good.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 12. That's two rings. Yeah, it's good stuff. Thanks, Ralph, for checking in with us. Make sure if you are hanging out, and we see you all in there, we see you hanging out on YouTube with us, we see you on the Twitter feeds. Make sure that you leave us a comment, hit those like and subscribe buttons, turn on the notification bells so you don't miss anything that we're doing. We got a lot of new commenters tonight, and we appreciate the love from the Green Screens Media universe. No doubt about it. Let's get to the next 5 here. And since you cats stole all of the ones on our first slide, I'm jumping right into Isaiah Swope.
What a host.
5'10", 170-pound guard, formerly of Indiana State, who currently has -3 people on the roster. I checked, I believe, at last standing. But Swope is now committed to St. Louis. Played 37 games last season for Indiana State, almost 34 minutes per average, 16 points, 3 boards, 2 dimes, and just over that Heinrich line. Just over that Heinrich line at 36% from 3. So we've got, basically this guy is he's a flat-out scorer, especially from 3-point range. He's following his coach and our guy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, over there to
That's your boy.
Steph Blurry, my guy, over there to the Bilikins, of course. And now this is obviously one of the – you can look at this, and not often that you could say that St. Louis will have one of the toughest backcourts in the country, but that's the case right now with Gibson Jimerson there. Now Swope is quick, obviously, but I said earlier I wanted to make sure that I led in with the fact that he was 5'10", because defensively that's where the concern is, right? So offensively, though, like the ceiling is, the sky's the limit. He's going to get his on a night in and night out basis, but will he be able to defend and stay on the floor in crucial situations? We shall see. I think he's got a good opportunity to do so. We got that 130 next, a little hopping around here on this one, number 130 on the big board. Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, number 130 is Jalen Leach, the guard formerly of Fairfield, 6'4", 200 pounds. Heading over to Northwestern. Coach Collins desperately needs to fill arguably the biggest shoes in his program's history. Who else could we talk about? Of course, Boo Buie. And that leaves a huge gap. And I think Leach is the type of player that can potentially, rise to the occasion, right? Like, it's a guy we're very high on, slashed last year, 49, 35, and 89 and was also top 150 in the country in offensive rating, right? So a bit more of a scorer than a facilitator, right? Scored 16 points per game last year, but he was okay in terms of dishing out 3 assists per game to back that up. I think more than anything, like he needs to improve on his defensive side, right? 104 rating in the last 2 years. Obviously, that is a stalwart of this Northwestern team under Coach Collins, but something that, we can expect Coach to really, bring out of his players, including Jalen Leach. So sitting at 130 right now has the upside to potentially outplay that ranking. Before we get on to the next player on the board, I think we have another new name checking in here. B-Hockey talking about Dusty May cooking. The new Michigan Wolverines head coach came in and brought his luggage with him, and a lot of it was Louis. So brought a lot of guys with him from FAU. Brought a few other faces, including one that we talked about earlier on tonight's show. So the Michigan faithful has to be feeling good about how the early days of the May dynasty has kicked off for them. B-Hockey, we appreciate you swinging through as well. Let us know if it's your first time. Love seeing all these new faces in the comments, and hit those buttons while you're there.
No doubt about it. And if you can think of who's going to lead them to the promised land, it's going to be May.
May. Ooh.
I couldn't.
Wow, in late April.
I could not. It's about to be May. It's coming. It's coming.
That's how time works.
We know. Time's a flat circle. All right, man. Everything we've ever done and will do, we're going to do over and over again. Like hitting the like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel.
I hit it all the time.
For this show. Get over there and do that. Mike, who's next on the list?
Next is I don't know, maybe all name. I don't know. We'll have to get with the conductor. We got to get an all name list too this preseason. That
work on that.
We need to check that box off this year. But number 167, Chibuzo Agbo, wing from Boise State. Love the name. Love the offensive game. 33 games last year. Commits to USC this year. 14 points, 5 boards, 41% from a 3. One of the best offensive wings in the Mountain West. And we know how good the Mountain West was last year. Can stretch the defense as an elite shooter. I mean, posted back-to-back 40% seasons from 3, but kind of just a shooter, right? It's never averaged over an assist, a block, or a steal at all in any of the 4 years in his career. So you're really just kind of getting a shooter here. It's going to be interesting to see how Musselman uses him. I don't know that he's going to get clear 20 minutes on that. We'll see kind of how it all shakes out as we get reports throughout the the off season and into the preseason. But
don't you think that's important for us to discuss a lot of the time with this? Like some of these players that are going from situations where they're playing 30 plus minutes a night, and we look and see what kind of stats that they put up. Their stat lines are not going to look like that in a lot of these situations because the minutes it's not a 1-for-1 swap in a lot of these instances, right? Like that's not how this works. So we've got to take that into consideration. And I think that some of these players, like when you just get the most, these are how these programs that are being the most successful in the transfer portal, they're whittling it down. And it's frustrating from a DFS perspective when we talk DFS, but programs that are winning are finding ways to utilize every ounce of these players' abilities. And now that you can restock in the portal every year and tailor make rosters based on the strengths that your program runs on, like we're going to continue to see some of the best basketball possible here coming up. And that's why this is so exciting. And that's why we appreciate guys like B-Hockey that hop back in to tell us like they were there for the last couple of rounds of the tournament for DFS as well. So absolutely. Thanks for hopping in. We're always going to be doing this stuff. This is what we do. We're here to talk college basketball. This is what we're doing here. This is what we do. And we appreciate you doing it with us. But yeah, college, never been a better time to watch college basketball, be a fan of college basketball. And let's keep it going here on some commitments. I talked about people leaving the West Coast. Here's somebody staying on the West Coast, Eric.
Yeah, switching teams but remaining in the same time zone. That is number 178, Brandon Angel, heading from Stanford up to Oregon. The 6'8", 240-pound forward played 30 games for the Cardinal last year, played about 31 minutes, gave him 13 points, 5 rebounds, and shot a juicy 45% from range. So, Angel's a guy that gives you a little bit of everything. He can post you up. He can get to the rim. Obviously, he can stroke it from downtown, right? So, like his offensive game, like the versatility there, very efficient, 12th in the country in true shooting percentage. So he comes in, he gives Coach Altman a type of weapon that he just didn't have at the position last year. So looking forward to seeing exactly how Altman deploys him. If he tries to.
Oh, did we lose him? I think we lost you there, Eric. But Brandon Angel, definitely a solid player here. I think when we look back at it, probably going to be one that even this offseason we may move him up just a little bit more there. So
we might have to. It's like maybe like even in the top 100 range, like somebody that we might look back and say like, dang, like this is. But again, like I was listening earlier to I don't even remember who it was. Might have been Goodman talking, and he's like the difference in these players from like 2 to 25 in the rankings. There's not that big of a difference in terms of overall talent. Like, and if you can get them in the right situation, like I was saying, Eric, we got you back now. Like Angel's one of those players that with Coach Altman, like this is the type of weapon that he was lacking out there.
Yeah.
And now that's how Mike and I feel like feeling the same way about him, where it's like we're going to look back and say, dang, should we have bumped this guy up a little bit, And
it's not too late. This is not finalized. It's where he's at right now. But you love the offensive rating. Another guy that has a tremendous offensive rating, and both of these guys probably too low, is Mason Gillis. But how much of it was because Mason Gillis played with Zach Edey? I think that's the thing that kind of holds him back. Not at all. The forward here from Purdue, 6'6", 225. He's going to Duke. So Duke has stockpiled not only Gillis here, but also Malik Brown, who we talked about, which gives them not just experience, which is kind of what they went out in the portal the last couple of years and got. They got experience and talent with these guys, especially in the front court. So Gillis, only 6 points, 4 boards, shot 47% from 3 in 21 minutes. Obviously played on a team that made it to the national championship. He was sixth in the entire country in offensive rating. I think it kind of helps when you shoot 47% from 3 and get dump down duck ins when Zach Edey's getting double teamed. It doesn't hurt, but I love what they're going to provide. This Blue Devil team with. I'm interested to see how many minutes these guys get with Flag and all these 5 stars coming in. But you need guys like this, like Jay. You always say it, man. You always say it.
You do need guys like this, and I'm glad you brought up the 5 stars coming in, because you and I were talking with our guy Cam C. Thuggin on Twitter the other day about how you can't just bring in all the 5. It can't be just the 5-star freshmen that come in and take over a conference and then go on a run. Like, you've got to have the experience now in college basketball, and now look what Duke is doing, and it's almost like they're finding ways to excel at both. You just bring in all of the 5-star guys, and then you bring in the experience in the portal, and there's so much talent there, and they can fit these guys into these puzzles, like puzzle pieces into how they want them to play. Gillis, he is a championship type player. The guy that you look at on a roster and say, this is one of the reasons why a team can win a championship. It's not going to show up on a ranking on a transfer portal big board. But Mason Gillis to Duke is good. We might look back at this and say that this was one of the more underappreciated portal ads.
I would argue he was probably the 4th most important player on Purdue last year. I would definitely argue that. I mean, behind Smith, Edey, and then Lance Jones. I mean, I'd probably put him ahead of Lawyer and TKR. So he's just. I mean, and he made me a little money on in them DFS streets. So I'm a little partial to him. But that one time, I was always in on him that one time. But yeah, great player and great get for
Duke for sure. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Get in the live chat like B Hockey and Ralph. It's Skinny, Chris Napier, our guy Big Mo. Make sure you hop in there to the live chat. That was that light bulb moment, like live on the air earlier, that it just hit me, and that's pretty funny. That's good times there. But we appreciate everybody nonetheless. Let's move on now to some very recent divey poos right into the portal. Some guys that have left their schools, have not committed anywhere, but might have a visit or two on the books already. Who knows? Mike, let's start with you. A top 50 guy here checking into the portal from Minnesota.
Once again, we have guys, this time not committed, but wanting to escape and recreate a place that's their own world. If you guys missed my Gwen Stefani ad earlier, I wanted to get that one back out there, but I didn't want to be left out. Number 42, Elijah Hawkins. Oh, geez, it's late. The guard from Minnesota, 5'11", 165. I love this kid. 33 minutes last year. Almost 10 points. 4 boards at that size is pretty good. 7.5 assists. That's really good. 1.6 steals, 36% from 3. You'll take that. And, I mean, for a little while there, he's running the team for this Gopher squad, and there's a chance that with a couple of weeks left in the regular season, they have a shot to get into the tournament, and nobody really expected that. So 9th in the country in assist rate, 36% from 3. That's kind of what you want from your point guard. Yes, he is a smaller guard, but he has a high motor, and he can generate some easy buckets, getting a couple of steals where, maybe lacks on the size there being taken advantage of. But his offensive rating, just continues to get better and better and better every single year. I think he's going to be a linchpin for someone's offense this fall. Initial rating at 42. They seem a little high. We'll see how it kind of settles in here, but I love Elijah Hawkins' game for sure. At number 73 here, Eric, is your boy Zhuric Phelps, the guard from SMU. Kind of an interesting player in the portal. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, definitely interesting. He feels like the best way to describe him is solid, right? For SMU last year, he played 33 games. He gave him 29 minutes, about 15 points, 4 boards, about 3 assists, and almost 2 steals per game. He's second team All AAC. He's been the face of this Mustangs program for the last 2 seasons. He doesn't consistently shoot it well from deep, but he's got some range in his game, right? He's kind of hot and cold from behind the arc. Where he really does his damage is he can get into the lane and just knife you up and get those efficient shots up. So, defensively, he's above average, if maybe not a little bit better. Just overall, a guy that can contribute, solid to very good stats on both ends of the floor, and a guy that, because of that, I think is going to have a fair amount of suitors. So Zhuric Phelps checking in at 73, moving up about 100 spots, number 160. Jay, who do we have at the middle spot of this graphic?
First of all, I feel bad for anybody that just hopped in mid-broadcast and doesn't understand why Mike was doing Gwen Stefani gimmicks, because we led off the show with that. So
because he loves her art.
So with that, I'll say, don't fight that good shit in your ear. Now let me blow your mind.
God,
as I tell you about Dylan Addae-Wusu leaving Seton Hall, 37 games there, almost 33 minutes, 8.5 points, over 5 boards, over 2 dimes, and more importantly for me, in the role that I think he will bring the most strength to on his new suitor of a team. 1.6 steals per another year 5, I should say, COVID player in the portal. I'm so ready for these COVID years to be done. But again, one more season with this major super experience, these old college basketball players. It'll be fun to watch. Now, this is another guy, Mike, for me and Eric. This is a guy that you find on championship rosters, the kind of guy like a Mason Gillis that just does the things. He fits a role. He doesn't bitch and moan. He does his job and he gets it done. And he just doesn't jump off the page, but he's more of the junkyard dog type, the Mario Ellie type of a player that just finds a way. He eventually ends up in your starting lineup, and then he hits some big shots down the stretch, and he gets a big steal, and you're like, oh, yeah, that guy's awesome, and we need him. We want a player like him on our team, and that's what Addae-Wusu is going to bring to whoever snags him out of this portal. Mike, a couple more players on here. Give us number 248.
Oh, the 248 ranking, man. This guy has just so much upside. Just it's waiting to all be put together. Shannon Worley, the guard from Florida State, hops in the portal. 24 minutes last year. Of course, everyone on Florida State plays 24 minutes. So, rotation there is kind of bonkers. But he averaged 7.5 points, almost 3 rebounds, 3 assists, over a steal. He's a former top 75 recruit. Awesome size at 6'7", 205. He's a primary facilitator, so he can run your point. You feel good about the size, at least on the defensive end as well. You'd love to see him develop a little bit more of an offensive game. You'd love that he's nearly a 2.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio guy. You always love that in college basketball. 3 to 1 is always like kind of that elite level in the sport. But yeah, just needs to develop some range. But with this size, man, he's able to kind of get in there, get some rebounds, get some putbacks, like things you normally don't see a primary facilitator do. So at 6'7", like the upside for Worley is top 125, top 100. But we just haven't seen him be that consistent of enough of an offensive player to kind of put him at that mark, but should have plenty of suitors. So I want to finish this one off for us, Eric. We got Brandon Murray sitting at number 277, the guard from Ole Miss, man.
Yeah, 277. Brandon Murray himself, 6'5", 210 pounds. He played 23 games for the Rebels last year. He only played about 20 minutes per game. Chipped in, pretty menial amount of counting stats: 4 points, 2.5 boards. Shot 36% from 3. He was a guy that was top 100 for us last year, right? Like, had a pretty productive season for Georgetown before he transferred into Ole Miss. And then when he got there, he just found himself kind of stuck on the bench behind a heap of talented guards, right? So, fairly limited role. He did the most with his minutes whenever he got them. He's a bit more of a volume scorer, right? He hasn't really shown a whole lot of efficiency, and at least in this past season, didn't really have the opportunity to get going, to get the volume that he needs, right? So it'll be interesting to see if he goes somewhere where he can get that usage that he shined with, in that prior season at Georgetown, or if he ends up in, somewhat of a similar role wherever he lands. But, ultimately, like Chris Beard, he really must feel like he's losing his best friend, right? Like he can't believe that this could be the end, but at least in terms of where we stand right now, that is what it is looking like for Brandon Murray, who has entered the portal to transfer out of Ole Miss.
Chris Beard got enough people. Everybody can't keep staying, right? Like you look,
you don't have 20 scholarships.
That math don't be mathing with as many guys as he's added over there. So the writing was on the wall for Murray, and he'll be finding a new home, heading down the old dusty trail. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Show your broskies in basketball some love. Make sure you follow us all on Twitter, and make sure you follow @OneAndDoneCBB over there on Twitter. Over 1.1K followers over there. Much appreciated for the love over there. And what are we at? What are we at on subs on YouTube, gents?
Should be at 932. Is that right?
932.
Yep.
Let's get up to 935 by the end of the show. Make sure you do your part in the Green Screens Media Universe and hit those buttons for us. As we now get to a classic one and done segment coming back. Ladies and gents, this is Rapid Fire.
Let it soak.
There we go. We got the old situation there. We got the camera right for the two broskies at the bottom here. I'm going to rapid fire here to you. I need the rapid fire response. The graphics up. We are ready to go.
So you don't want me to just talk and talk and talk is what you're saying?
I didn't. You said that, not me. Okay, but yes, like shut up for a second. I mean, I'm kidding. I want to hear what you had to say, but let's do it quickly. I'm going to come to you first, Eric. Of all of the teams in the land across the country, which team, which program has the most work to do as of right now?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be Arkansas, right? Like they've got 2 players on the roster. Coach Cal brought Big Z with him. That's, obviously a big hold in the figurative sense. Followed him over from Kentucky. They also had 5-star wing Carter Knox commit to them. So, I mean, after that, there's a whole lot of question marks on this roster, right? A lot of empty seats on the bench. So we expect Coach Cal, in year one to fill those up with some pretty talented guys, but he's got to get after it.
He said faster, sir. So Kentucky, for me, 3 dudes on the roster. They did pick up Amari Williams as a cornerstone, and Coach Pope needs to land a few more big pieces if he wants to challenge in the SEC. Did I do it right, Jay?
Yeah, you did. And guess who's taking an old visit out to Lexington next week? Great Osobor.
Oh,
checking in out there. Think about a great Osobor, Amari Williams front court. Just for a second. For a second.
4 or 5 would be sick.
Just for a second. Just let that tingle in your wherever you want it to for a little bit. Next question. Rapid fire so far. Mike, who is the biggest game changer still on the market?
Johnell Davis, Florida Atlantic. I'm surprised he's not in the NBA. I think he's actually got a decent ceiling in the NBA. I mean, he's an awesome scorer, much better defensive player than really given credit for. So I like Johnell Davis, Eric. Who you got?
I'll go with Deivon Smith, the guard from Utah. Kid's a walking triple-double. He's a bucket, right? Like we talked about him a bit on the last show. Just all the makings of an elite college point guard.
The anti-Russell Westbrook is that how you referred to him on the show the other night?
Tracks, yeah.
The actual, like, when you're getting triple-doubles, the way that you want your player to actually do that. Mike, the disrespect to Brody that Mike has. That's all right, though. How about the next question here in rapid fire? Eric, going to come to you first. A team that you feel is a little overhyped.
I'll go with the USC Trojans. They don't really have any big time guards or ball handlers. Defensively, they don't look great across the board, right? So they're banking on a lot of mid-major stars being able to step up to playing at the level of the Big Ten, and that's not the best thing to bank on. So we'll see how that one shakes out as the season kicks off. I
might have been frozen for a hot minute there. But, I kind of agree with DePaul. But I'm going to go with USC, man. And, I'm going to go with DePaul. You went with USC. I'm going to go with DePaul. And, hey, Coach Holtman, like, he's bringing in more talent than what they've had. But I don't think there's really, like, any game changers that are going to take this team from 0 wins at the conference all the way up to, 8, 9, 10 wins.
Hey,
it's not a 0-win roster.
It's not a 0. Do you ever looked at a roster and said that's a 0-win roster?
I mean,
no, nobody's ever. No, you
last
haven't
year.
Done that. You have not. You didn't look
Maybe
at that
Louisville.
roster in the preseason and say that's a 0-win roster. Sorry, but you're right. It's not a 0-win, but it's going to be tough sledding out there for Coach Holtman for sure. Eric, coming to you again. Who has your favorite transfer class out of all the mid majors?
Give me the Lopes of Grand Canyon. They picked up Jacoby Coles, the stretch big from TCU. They also picked up the WAC newcomer of the year, Makai Williams, and the guard from UT Arlington. Right, so like how the Lopes are putting it together so far.
This is no movie. There's no Makai Williams. Oh, sorry. All right, who do you got, Mike?
I like that. A lot of rapping today. I'll go with McNeese State. Will Wade there. I mean, landed Sincere Parker, the talented scoring wing from St. Louis. I mean, yesterday they got the ASU big man, Brian Salabange. He chose to join the squad. So yeah, love what McNeese State is doing, man. We know our boy Wade is going to do his thing.
How much longer is he going to be there? Another rapid
Next
fire.
year. That's it.
One more year.
One season, yeah.
Okay, all right. We all
One
agree.
and done, sir.
One and done. All right. How about a transfer, gentleman, that you feel did not get enough love on a national scale? Mike, coming back to you first.
I'll go with Bensley Joseph, the guard from Miami, going to Providence, and I'm just probably higher than him than most people are. And I thought when he was given an opportunity, he showed a lot of upside. He plays good D, shoots the three, can run your offense. So I really like Bensley Joseph here, Eric. I wish he had gotten more pub. What do you like here?
A lot to like about Bensley Joseph. I'll stick with former Florida players or state of Florida. Elijah Martin, the wing from FAU. He actually stays in the state of Florida going to the Gators. He's a proven winner, right? He's got Final Four experience, which is hard to come by. Great three-point shooter. Absolutely awesome fit in this high-paced offense that Coach Golden likes to run. So curious to see what he can do moving at a faster pace this year.
No doubt about it. Lastly, here on everyone's new favorite show, our new favorite segment on the show, Rapid Fire, who would you guarantee to make the Final Four if the season started today? Your best bet with the rosters in place.
Arkansas.
Yes, I'm asking you the question, and yes, the correct answer is Kentucky. No, it's not. Eric, who do you got first on this?
They don't even have enough people. They don't have enough people to play five. Arkansas.
Yeah, they'd forfeit, right?
It doesn't matter. They can play. Go ahead. What do you got?
Our one and done, way too early Final Four picks. I am a man of tradition, and I feel like Houston is usually a pretty popular pick with this type of question. This year is no different. They returned 4 of their 5 starters. They went out and got Uzon through the transfer portal. So, always going to be a top 3 or 5 defense under Coach Sampson. And, that plus the experience on this roster is going to give this team a chance to make the dance.
How many teams return 4 out of 5 starters in the entire country, much less a team that's this talented and coached this well?
Well, if there's only 4 of them, then there's the answer to your question, Jay.
I'm gonna jump in here and say Duke. I love the Gillis and Brown pickups. Cooper Flagg, he's pretty good. He's coming, along with a bunch of other 5 stars. They still have Proctor and Caleb Foster, and I'm just a sucker for Duke because I see the talent on the paper, and I can just never get away from them. So I'll go with the old Dukies.
You will go with Duke. Eric went with Houston. And ladies and gentlemen, we just went rapid fire. That's what's up. Good stuff there, ladies and gents, all of our broskies and broskets in basketball. That is our fine show. We're done. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Make sure you hit all those buttons, like and subscribe, doing your part in the Green Screens Media universe. Tell the hoop heads in your life about One and Done at One and Done CBB on Twitter. I am the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. My name is Jay Heinrich at Dr. William Cannon on Twitter. Our guy, Eric, the Blue, right there in those Twitter streets at Fantasy Nav. El Capitan himself, the OG Money Mike, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. He does the ship. I do the train. Eric does the ice cream buggy.
Yeah, man. See me if you need that paleta plug, my guy.
We got that. We got you there. And, of course, our guy at The Real Napier, wishing El Capitan an early birthday.
More gray hair coming.
You're getting up there in the years, my friend. You are getting up there in the years. If you catch me, well, we won't be able to talk about it because I'll be dead. But you won't, my friend. But what I will ask is that you catch One and Done the next time we are live, which will probably be sometime over the weekend, most likely on Sunday. But the best way to do that, to know when we are on, hit that notification bell, turn it on, and get this bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.